You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Hello and welcome to your final helping of Loose Women this week. Joining me for some big debates and some much-needed positivity. It's Linda Robson, Judy Love and Nadia Sawalha. Coming up after one woman revealed she posed as her own secret lover to convince her boyfriend to commit. We'll be asking if it is ever a good idea to play love games. And from sagging and bagging to midlife acne, we're tackling menopausal skin. I thought we were supposed to be cheering them up.
Lifting them up at this rate.
Whatever stage and age you're at, and we'll be telling you the best budget buys that can menopause-proof your face. Well, that's good. That's good news. Yeah. Plus, Nadia and Linda, this is good news. Will be giving us an update on how Stacy and baby Rose are doing after popping by to Pickle Cottage yesterday. And Nanny Linda's also got some feel-good news to help cheer us all up. My goodness, we need some cheering up, don't we, with the ongoing situation in Ukraine. I'm no doubt you have seen the front pages here this morning. They've all got very similar headlines. And pictures. This picture really struck me when I saw it last night. Shocking images and videos of the conflict all over our televisions, all over social media feeds. And, you know, you can't keep your kids away from it. Should you keep your kids away from it? What kind of conversations have you had, Nadia?
Well, it's tricky, isn't it? It is tricky because they are, I mean, we turned off the television as Kiki came down the stairs the other day and she said, oh, it's OK, I've seen all the bombing, I've seen everything on TikTok. Wow. So it is out of our hands. I try and really stick with the positive stories. That's what I do. You know, I'll say things like, you know, this is bringing the rest of the world together. NATO is this power with lots of brilliant minds, and the country is the rest of the world is standing up to this bully. I talk to them about the incredible bravery that we're seeing. I was talking to them about it just makes me emotional when I think of the Russians out on the streets so bravely going out, knowing what's going to happen, to demonstrate, and I talked to them about that. And there's been some incredible stuff shared on Twitter. I mean, there's a film, I think we've got it here. I was so moved by this morning on the way into it. Oh, that's not it. It's basically, there's a Russian soldier standing fully armed, and that there is a woman. We can only see her from behind. She looks sort of in her 50s, 60s, and she's saying to him, what are you doing here? How dare you? And look at their arms. How dare you come here and treat us like that? You come here to shoot women and children. What are you doing? And then she says, put sunflower seeds in your pocket so the sunflowers grow when you die. And she's standing there with just herself.
Brave woman.
Incredibly brave, incredibly moving. So I just try and move them away from that. And I also try and say, you know, it's OK that you feel a bit anxious because it's an anxious time. You know?
I suppose it's being age appropriate as well, isn't it? I mean, Kiki's 14.
Yeah, Maddie's 19.
Yeah,
forget, 19,
you know, my youngest 15. Yeah. You've got younger.
Yeah, my son's 12 and my daughter's 16. And, you know, for my son, you know, you don't realise how much they know because my son, one of his best friends, his family's from Ukraine. So he's like, oh, my gosh, Mum, you know, Dee's from there. And I spoke to his mum last night and when you actually know somebody who has family there, and she was just saying to me, you know, certain places have been bombed, airports and bits and pieces, and she's just worried about getting in contact but trying to keep calm. Like you said, there's only so much you can filter from your children. This is someone who is very close with, he's grown up with, so he's comforting his friend, they're talking. And my daughter as well, she's very much like, what does this mean? What does this mean for the UK? And I was just saying to her, imagine if it was Jamaica or somewhere, we'd want people to help. We'd hope that people would come together, and this is what, you know, the UK and America and other countries are trying to do for Ukraine. So what I find is it's really hard to filter it. And in fact, my children are coming to me with videos and information.
Yeah,
So I've just saying to them, you know, it's about, you know, everyone's got a different belief. You know, it's about, for me, you know, pray, keep calm, trying to manage the anxiety. If I'm calm, then they will calm.
It's so difficult, though, isn't it? Because, I mean, there's a deluge of information.
Yeah.
You know, you have to filter through the information. What is reliable? What is not reliable? Do you just say, well, look, I cannot control this, and therefore I'm not even going to look at it? And I think a lot of people will do that, Linda.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch the news and I don't read newspapers or anything, so I was sort of a bit oblivious to how serious it was, really. It was only when I got into work today and we were all talking in the meeting I realised how serious it was. And also talking to some of our young boys that work on the show, and that one of them in particular just said he was really anxious and couldn't sleep last night and hadn't eaten this morning, and it obviously is affecting everybody. Obviously, my grandchildren are too young to understand what's going on, but my son was trying to explain to me what's actually happening, and it's just...
But, I mean, with you, Linda, it was a positive choice for you some time back to come off social media. Because it was causing you anxiety. So that was a really sensible decision that you made. And, I mean, we're talking about how we deal with it with our children. I have a terrible tendency to absolutely immerse myself in it. You know, sitting up late at night, getting up early in the morning. You said you did that for a lot of the pandemic, Nadia, and you had to actually give yourself a break. And I think that is the professional advice, not ignoring it necessarily.
That's what I would absolutely say. And talking to some of the young people here at work today, I've said, you know, because at the beginning of the pandemic, I was trying to deal with my anxiety by being plugged into every worst-case scenario. And then one day I said, what am I doing? I was going to sleep with the news in my ear. I was watching it non-stop. I like to be informed. I have to be informed. It's part of our job. But I eventually said to Mark, do you know what? I can't do this because I'm not functioning at all. And it's feeding my anxiety because it just goes on. And he was still wanting to be plugged in. I said, listen, I can't do this. I'm going to only watch the news at 10 o'clock at night. We're going to have to find a way to make this work. And I think also, because a lot of people say to me, especially young people, oh, but people send me stuff. Well, you know what? You can put out a text to your friends and say, I'm not actually really coping very well with it at the moment. Do you mind just not sending me anything? Because you can get bombed with it, can't you? Well, God, terrible use of the word. But you know what I mean? It's just out of nowhere, it's dropped on you.
And also,
then it's difficult to deal
try
with.
and make a decision as to what you think the reliable sources of news are, because, you know, we're getting it come from all quarters, and, you know, we're now in a world of misinformation and disinformation. There are reliable sources out there that you can say, OK, I'm going to watch that and I'm going to be informed, but I'm not going to allow myself to start just drowning in
going to every scenario.
The thing is, it's been taken really serious, and even for people who don't look at politics, I saw an Instagram tweet, an Instagram post the other day, and he said Russia and Ukraine like if they were in a relationship, you know, well, basically they broke
making
up.
it really user-friendly for people
for people who don't understand. So it shows how much is out there, even if you're not in that area. And that's why, like you guys said, it's really important to put those boundaries in so you're not overwhelmed.
Well, the ITV News will be here with the latest updates on the situation right after us. So, you know, you can stay with us and stay informed at the same time. But, Judy, I mean, oh, God, talk about changing the subject. What's going on with you and that cat of yours?
Oh, Bella! Bella is just, I mean, she's in her own little world. Look at her. She's got, do you know what? I need to give you an update picture because my baby, she's got bunda.
My baby.
Right. Bella
What's bunda?
She's got back, babe. She's got back. She's got back. She's very curvy, like her mother. So
oh, you gave birth to her, did you?
I'm the grandma.
You love her sometimes. You love her so much. Sometimes I think you maybe did give birth to her.
I mean, I love her to be. But listen, she's got this phase where she's going outside, and I'm saying to her, Bella, come in because it's late, and we've got loads of foxes. Last night, this cat had me outside. Bella tried to, you know, groom her to come in. As she gets to the door, she runs off. So I had to try and grab her because the fox was right there. She's so naive. She wants to play. But I ran outside.
So naive.
She is. I ran outside in the nighttime in my nightie and my headscarf. And I mean, the tops and the bots lifted up the nightie. Everything was hanging out. And I was, Bella, trying to catch Bella. Bella's like, meow, thinking it's a game. Finally get Bella, ran inside, and my daughter was like, oh, my gosh, Mum, we need to be careful. She can't get hit by the fox. And I was just like, why is she going out so much?
Do you realise that cats go out at night? That is when they go out. That's
no,
when,
you're
that's
joking.
when they're supposed
They do, yeah.
Oh,
It's dangerous.
Well,
Have you got a please.
Flat. Not for a cat. It's not dangerous.
She's got a time, curfew, she's got to be in. Do you know what I mean?
They go out actually at night and in the morning. They don't go out overnight, they go out hunting at night and in the morning.
Really?
Crepuscular. Anyway, plenty more to come on today's show.
Show off.
It's OK, no, it's all right.
Did you use your middle-class voice to pull her in? Maybe that's
Yeah, I
where
was
you
like,
went...
Bella, darling, sweetie pie, sweetie. And then she got, Mr. come here. I kind of
Right, plenty more to come on today's show, and we promise you we're going to be giving you some much-needed positivity and a few loose laughs too. We debate whether bad driving really is all in the genes or just a convenient excuse for some. And Judy will be giving us all a lesson in how to get what you want in love when we ask whether playing mind games in relationships is ever a good idea. Let's hope she has better luck in love than she has with Bella the cat. See you after this. Welcome back. Later on, we're talking all about menopausal skin, from dryness to angry outbreaks. That's like us, isn't it? We are an angry outbreak.
I ain't dry nowhere. I ain't nowhere be dry. Not one part of me is dry. You touch me, you slip off.
Judy will take your word for it, love. We'll be joined by a skin expert to debunk and demystify your skin concerns and also reveal why over-the-counter creams really are better than those tiny little pots that threaten to break the bank. And Nanny Linda and naughty Auntie Nadia will be giving us an update on how Stacey and baby Rose are doing. Stopped in to see her. Oh, she's gorgeous. She really is.
Oh, edible.
But first, if you think mirror, signal, manoeuvre are more to do with dating than driving, it might not be your fault. One survey has found that your star sign could dictate how good you are at driving, while another study has revealed that those with a certain gene variant are up to 30% worse at driving than those without it. So, Linda, what's your excuse?
My excuse is I am Britain's worst driver. It's one of the only awards I've ever won. But yeah, no, I'm just not that great. So we had to learn to drive for Birds of a Feather because our characters drove. So I had to take driving lessons and that. And on the day that I had my test, there was a lot of roadworks being done, thank God. So I didn't have to drive very far. And at the end of it, he said, "You passed." And I went, "Are you sure?" "What, really? I've passed?" He went, "Yeah, you've passed." Anyway, and then I did this programme. It was like an obstacle course and you had to drive around it. And I became Britain's worst driver because I can't tell my left to my right. So when I'm driving, if they say do the next on the right, I have to write my name. And I go, "Yeah, that's right. This is why my hands are on the steering wheel," and then I'll turn right. Or if they said do the next on the left, then I'll do that because I know L, left, and whatever.
That's your driving.
Case like that.
After I did this programme, like a couple of times, kids go, "Can we have some friends over?" I go, yeah, of course you can. So the mum would go, "Actually, is it OK if I drop them to your house?" They didn't want them to get in the car with me.
But you know,
So they'd drop them to my house.
They're saying it might be in your genes or whatever. I mean, now that we know so much more about neurodiversity and things, I mean, and all of our brains work in a different way. Some people are really coordinated. I'm not good with my left and right,
No.
actually. I've always got to shake my hand. So there probably is something in it.
And I do think it might be hereditary because my dad was a really bad driver.
Was
He
he?
would eat sweets and smoke a cigarette at the same time as he had his hands on
sounds
the
like a very
steering
good
wheel.
driver.
Yeah,
I
he's
see
very
that.
talented.
But his hands were never on the steering wheel. They were so busy having a fag and then flicking the ash out the window, and then he'd have a sweet or whatever. One time the cigarette came back in and burnt me.
Oh, them were the days, weren't they? Them were
Those
the
are the
days.
days when you used to be able to lie on the back shelf, wasn't it? Do you remember those days?
I know. Well, I know you're a rubbish driver. What about you, Judy?
Oh, listen, I'm from South London, babes. I think I'm all right driver. I think I drive differently now to where I live now to where I used to live. But my mum, you say
Why?
that, my mum was a good
South
driver.
London is a
I
thing. You do have to drive certain ones.
honestly, I feel like in South, you better know how to drive. You know,
Yeah?
it's just a little. They will take any little movements. You know, if there's a little gap, they'll move through it. And I'm definitely one of those kind of drivers.
No.
Yeah, I am.
Arm out the window.
I'm out the window. I will drive, and I might see a little space, and I'll reverse back like this. Do you know what I mean? I'll reverse back, then I'll swing it in through the back and pull it in, put it in the gear, make sure the glasses are on all at the same time.
What are you thinking in your head when you're doing all of that?
She's thinking, who's looking?
Yeah, I'm getting a little arm workout, but I always have this vision of being in, like, a sitcom where I'm like this detective, like I'm this cool detective, and I've got to jump in my car, roll down the road, like I'm one of the, you know what I mean? I always get that, but that's just how I drive. I try to be aware of
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're Cagney, don't let her be Lacey. Because you'll be in trouble. You'll be in trouble.
Oh, actually, no, it took me 3 tests to pass, and then I could only pass because I was hypnotised. And I think they hypnotised my driving instructor as well, because I don't know how I got through. Because the thing was, I'd done loads of programmes trying to pass my test, I kept failing. You know when they put that sticker on the back? I suddenly realised the only way I'm going to pass my test is if I look like I know what I'm doing with the mirrors. So I was going like this, I was looking in the mirrors, I was looking here, but I didn't know what I never knew what I was looking at. I've given myself a lifetime ban. I would just like to say, don't worry, you're not going to meet me on the road. Because I realised I should never have been passed. And it is something to do with my brain, because why can't I understand what the sticker on the left is for? I couldn't understand that if you go like this, I didn't know how to not hit the thing. And actually, my 3rd test, which was filmed as well, and there's a camera crew that came back with me home, and my parents were waiting there, because my dad even had a blazer on, they had a bottle of champagne ready, they were smiling. I walked in, the camera was behind, tracking, and they were like this, and Dad was like, I said, Dad, I failed. He went, not again, not again. I went, no, I have. And he started to get quite cross. He goes, why did they fail you? I said, well, I did a 3-point turn, but I ended up in the same direction that I'd started. And they failed you? On your sense of direction? Betty, you should tell them it is just a sense of direction, not a driving. He wanted to go down to the DVLA. I went, no, it's not. It's because I didn't understand how to get back round again.
Wow. Oh, you've got some competition, Linda.
Just quickly, I did offer to park someone's car from one day in Iceland car park. I was with my sister Debbie. She went, don't make yourself busy, you're not a good driver. I said, I'll be fine. This poor woman was trying to park for ages. Anyway, eventually I reverse parked it into a bollard. Hardly any mark on the back, though. Hardly any mark.
But just what made you think, stand back, I'm Britain's worst driver, I'll do it for you?
Because she was struggling and I'm very helpful, so I wanted to help her.
But you need to give yourself a lifetime ban too.
It's competition time now. If Friday is your lucky day, how do you fancy being in with a chance of winning not just £90,000 in cash, but even more moolah towards a brand new motor? And if you ever let Linda park your car, you're going to need it. Craig Doyle has all the details.
Woo!
Hello all, I'm in Lincolnshire in the village of, well, Willoughby. I had to, really, didn't I? And I've also got news of a brilliant prize coming your way.
This week, you have the chance to win not only an enormous £90,000 in totally tax-free cash, but you'll also win another £30,000 to buy a new car.
This is Jeremy, he's an alpaca farmer, the alpaca king of this part of the world. Jeremy, you're doing a bit of feeding there, marvellous.
We are.
Why alpacas, not just an owl sheep or something?
They're more interesting, by orders of magnitude, more intelligent than sheep.
Yeah, I want to ask the alpacas this question, but not very responsive at the moment. I'll ask you, what would you do with 90 grand in cash? Just drop it into your banking account.
Pay a bit off the mortgage.
For your chance to win, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY08, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday, the 25th of March at 3 p.m. Best of luck.
TV presenter Debbie Greenwood has revealed the extreme lengths that she went to marry her husband Paul. So she explains that in order to get him to commit, she pretended to be her own lover, sending herself a massive bouquet of flowers with a card saying, "Thank you so much for last night. Hope we can do it again soon. Love,
Wow.
Tony." So apparently it worked. The couple got engaged soon after. But I mean, seriously, who would do something like that?
Well,
Nadia.
Well, you know my boyfriend that I call Blue Boyfriend, my
Yes.
first love, my first passion, all of that. And this comes with a warning, boys and girls. For some reason, he was really into me. I was crazy about him, but for some reason, I decided that I needed to make him jealous. And I made up this person that I would go to, and I would just, oh, I've just come back from so-and-so. Oh, I've just done... And then one day he said to me, what do you actually do when you go and see him? And I said, well, I don't play Monopoly. Why did I say that? Anyway, I was crazy about this guy, and he's the only... And then a year or so later, he actually fell for somebody else and broke my heart. He's the one that I put his records under the thing. And under the wheels of the car. And he said to me when we broke up, and he said, but you've always, you know, I always knew your heart was with, what's his name? He said, that time when you said, that first time when you said to me about the Monopoly, something just broke in me.
Playing games, you got what you deserve.
Yeah.
Don't play games, should you, Judy?
No, I mean, I think when you're young, you know, when I was younger, you know, you are a little bit of game playing, whether it's insecurities or you're not too sure if they like you and so on. But as you got older, let me tell you, I ain't got time for that, OK? Who's got time for game playing at this age or any age? I think you need to be direct. You need to be able to say to them what you want. And I mean, look, some people say, oh, it's a bit too scary if you're too upfront at the beginning. But if someone's been talking to you, it's been a couple of weeks and they're engaging and having these little intimate conversations, nothing wrong with you just saying to them, oh, I've noticed you've been speaking to a little while and, you know, giving you my attention. Are your intentions to date me? What is it why do you want my energy, my space, my time? I don't need no friends. And it's the truth. And what will happen, you either get someone, a man or a woman or they will say to you, no, actually, I'm not looking for that. Or they'll say yes. And if it is a suitor, they will actually step up before you have to say that.
Have you had people say directly to you, no, I'm not looking for that?
Yeah, look, I've had my days of, like, guys approaching me like they're interested or like, oh, yeah, I really want to get to know you, having all that, trying to have that sweet conversation. And I got to a stage in my life, definitely as I got into entertainment, where I put my boundaries down and I made sure, like, OK, so what do you want to speak to me for? And then when I've kind of addressed it, they're like, oh, you're not really my type, you're not my physical type. So then why are you talking to me? And then I just keep it moving. And that way, honestly, you don't waste time. The people who are players, who waste time, they will keep it moving because they're like, OK, she's on something.
I love that.
You've got to be very confident to do that, Judy.
I know, and
Comes with
before
age.
there wasn't as much confidence, but at the end of the day, I think I've got to a stage in my life where I know my worth, I know what I want, you know, I'm contented in myself, I know what bits can't change and can change, and this is what I have to offer and this is what I want, and I don't want to waste time.
Brilliant.
So I would say to people, don't play games. If someone is playing games, just ask them directly, I'm looking for a relationship, is that what you're looking for from me? If they say no, say thank you, boo-boo, and keep it moving.
Keep that and play that to your sons and daughters. That's it. They're right there in a nutshell.
The rules of love, straight from the love. There you go, you got it. After the break, as comedian Catherine Ryan says she's already potty trained her 8-month-old son, Freddie. We'll be asking if we should all try potty training from birth to save money, save the planet. And speaking of babies, we'll be finding out how Stacy and baby Rose are getting on before she returns to this very desk in a week's time. Looking forward to that. We will see you after this.
We've missed her on the show. Wow. But finally, our Stacey is back where she belongs.
I'm so excited, girls, honestly.
Returning to the panel following the birth of baby Rose.
You can't start the show without us having a proper celebration.
We'll be getting all the news from the Solomon Swash household. Stacey returns next week on Loose Women.
Oh, welcome back. Coming up, we'll be sharing some top tips on how to get the best skin of your life without a big price tag when we open up our skin clinic just a little bit later on. And at 1:10 Nanny Linda is going to be sharing some of your heartwarming stories to give us all a boost. But first, well, we just saw it there, didn't we? Stacey's back next week. We cannot wait to have her back here on the panel. You two, Nadia and Linda, went off to see her yesterday. How is she doing?
It was a bit of heaven, wasn't it, Linda?
It was lovely. It was so nice to meet. I never met Rose. That was the first time I'd met her, and she was absolutely adorable.
Oh, she's so adorable, and oh my God, look at her. You know,
Tell
we
them
were
what
there
she did to
hours,
you.
and that's all she. Oh well.
Within 5 minutes of getting there,
she weed all over me. I thought it was raining. I like looked up because the builders were there because it was such a gush, and then she threw up on me. Do you know what? I was smelling it all the way home because it was just so baby. It was just so lovely.
Is she like Rex, natured? Because he was so easygoing, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, they are. I said to her and Joe, you do produce the most extraordinary children.
it's just such a calm house as well, isn't it? It's really calm.
It was really
There's
lovely.
dogs running around everywhere. There's kids running around
and
everywhere.
And the sitting room now, which when we've gone before, there wasn't a sitting room, was there, last time? We were just like out in the... So the sitting room was so cosy, the fire, the dogs, and Rose, literally, is one of these. And like she had a little nap. And then we went over and she'd just woken up and was just entertaining herself by looking at the white ceiling, but being so happy. You know, she's just the most contented baby I've ever seen.
Lovely. That's what nice. We had nice little sandwiches and cakes.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
And the really lovely thing was, after all of what's going on in the world at the moment, do you know what? It was just really lovely to just sit with children who are in the moment. And I just kept putting my nose behind her ear and smelling that baby smile, and it just felt so good.
I mean, look, I love the smell and all that, but I was with my friend the other day, Ruby Turner, and we were sitting, was my other friend and the baby came over, and she gave me the baby, and I was holding the baby, and I literally looked awkward. I was trying to tap it, trying to do everything, and she just looked at me and went, that womb is done. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm done. Usually I could hold a baby, I could hold it safely, but I'm very maternal. But this time I was kind of like, OK, baby.
Because it's someone else's baby.
No, it just didn't.
It's because she's done.
Yeah, like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this again. Take it.
She's thinking about a gin and tonic, putting her eyelashes on.
You know what I mean? I was like, on the beach, in my bikini. I don't hear no wah-wah. Loving all that, as long as I can give it back.
Oh, there you go, Stacey. When you come in next week, don't bother giving the baby to Judy.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
I haven't had a little shot yet. I'm dying for a little hold the rose.
She's gorgeous.
Now, changing an endless stream of dirty nappies isn't exactly a highlight of parenthood, but would you consider ditching the diapers? Do we call them that now? Altogether. Well, before you think that I've gone completely potty, a growing number of parents, including the comedian Catherine Ryan, are apparently doing just that. Potty training them, really from newborn. I think her little boy, her baby's called Freddie, and it's eight months old, and you know she's getting into the old potty training. Do you think?
Good luck to her. At 8 months old, I can't understand how a baby would know to sit on a potty. And how would it let you know that I need to do a wee-wees now?
I don't know whether they do or not, or whether
they just sit them on the potty, hoping that they'll wee on the potty.
No, well, they do this. They do this in lots of other countries, and apparently you learn how to the visual
read the
clues. But for me, I'm thinking then. I mean, do you remember in the middle of the night? It was like one eye, it's like kind of. Sometimes they'd wake up with a nappy on their head. Can you imagine waking to the visual clue, and then like getting them onto the potty? I mean, I get it. You know, they say, what is it here? I was just reading this stat, I couldn't believe it. By the time baby is potty trained, baby would have used between 4,000 and 6,000 disposable nappies.
Yeah, but you don't have to use disposable nappies. I mean, now reusable nappies are really, really good. So, I mean, I don't know if that's
But they're quite expensive, I think, aren't they? The reusable, if you have them taken off much. So it is an option. But I just think... I just couldn't have imagined it when I was so exhausted from everything I was doing.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have got that into
I mean, to be fair, I think when this came out, Catherine Ryan totally flagged up. She said, I know this will annoy lots of people.
Yeah, she did.
Because everything about that early period of parenthood does become really competitive, doesn't it? And you can immediately, oh, you're just 8 months, it's potty training, oh my God, mine wasn't until da-da-da-da. Which is a shame that that bit of, you know, bringing up a baby becomes competitive, because actually it should be like Stacey has it, pretty relaxed.
Yeah, I think, look, it's each their own, isn't it? If that's what she's done, it's worked for her, that's fine. But, you know, I suppose maybe a lot of people might support that in the sense that a lot of schools complain that kids are coming to school at age 4 and they're not potty trained yet. They're still having difficulty with toileting. But like you were saying, it's an emotional thing as well. You know, there's a lot to it when a child decides to get to that stage and feel comfortable. But I just think it's each their own. And I just remember with my babies, I can't even remember what stage they went to the toilet or they were potty trained. I know it was in the so-called right time, but there's so many pressures, you know, have they had their vaccinations, are they eating solid foods yet, how, you know, are they growing? You've just got to know what you can take. I mean, let's be real, some of us adults need training again as well, so...
I just think it's just another pressured thing. It's like, are you potty trained by the time that you're 8 months? And actually, the NHS does advise that you should go at a child's pace. Yeah. Because I do wonder if you're... It seems quite a stressful thing, not only for you, but maybe for the child. I don't know.
Well, I wonder if it feels more freeing instead of being in that nappy. Maybe it's more freeing for the baby. I
don't know. When I think back to it, and I can't remember the details either, Judy, unlike you, but They both did it at slightly different times, but after all, we got really stressed about it. Did you get one of these kind of magic potties that kind of lit up and sang a song and started doing all sorts of crazy things when they did a poo in it? Where you're all supposed to...
Did you travel?
Yeah, and the advice at that time was if they did a poo in the potty for the first time, the whole family gathers round and goes, yes, you did a potty, you did a poo in it. So we did all of that. And then they just kind of did it when they were ready, and that was done.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa, what was that
I'm just trying to... It's like Linda says, though, what are these visual cues?
This probably.
What would be we, then? If that's poo, what would be we? But isn't that usually when they're doing it? Don't you love that with a little baby when they suddenly go... And they're in all kinds of ecstasy.
It's a shame that we lose that, really, isn't it?
I don't know.
That's quite funny. Imagine sitting on telly and everyone's going, yeah.
I know what she's doing.
Yeah. After the break, Nanny Linda's going to be sharing some of your heartwarming stories to give us all a boost. And skin expert Dr. Amy will be revealing the secret ingredient that we all need to tackle menopausal skin. Nadia, it's not crisp, so it's really not crisp.
A bit noisy.
We'll see you after this. Even Linda's crisp.
I'm not sitting next to you at the cinema.
Welcome back. We'll be tackling all your skincare concerns in just a minute. But first, it has been a long and difficult week for all of us. So you know what we need? We need some feel-good stories to put a smile back on our face for the weekend. So it's over to Linda for some feel-good news.
Thanks, Kay. First up, we have supermarket checkout worker Ron, who made a customer's day when she forgot her bank card and he paid out of his own pocket. Thanks, Ron, who has worked for the same shop for 16 years, was repaid for his kindness when the shopper returned with the cash later and has even been nominated for an award. Well done, Ron. We need more people like you, love.
Oh, we love you, Ron.
Next up is the story of two perfect pussycats. Meet feline friends Fluffy and Floss, who are the best of mates despite their 10-year age gap. The pair came into the care of the RSPCA last year after their owner could no longer look after them and were looking to be rehomed together. And in a very positive update to the story, we can now exclusively reveal that Fluffy and Floss will both be together, mewing into their new home in the coming week. I didn't write this. Next up, we have Lola the Husky, who enjoys mocking her owner. And you have all been in touch to share some of your own feel-good news. Safi got in touch to share her good news. Her twin boys, Ezra and Joel, were reunited this week after Joel spent 3 weeks in a special care hospital in North Wales. The twins are now 4 weeks old and happy to be home with their mummy, daddy and big brother Caleb. And Nanny Linda sends all her love to you too. Next up, huge congratulations to Ben. He got in touch to tell us that his cabin crew training is finally complete after being delayed for 2 years due to COVID. Ben, we're all so proud of you here, and I hope to be seeing you very soon, very, very soon. And finally, some good news for me. Apparently, I've got a look-alike, or a Linda-alike. This is Nanny Linda, who says that her good news is being told she looks just like me. We're 2 peas in a pod, love. And your dad wasn't a milkman, was he, love? And that's it for Nanny Linda's Feel Good News.
Beautifully done, Linda.
Thanks, Linda.
It was like a poem.
Yeah. It's competition time now. Your chance to win £120,000. For the last time this week, here's Craig Doyle with all the details.
All this week, I've been out and about on a road trip driving a very special car.
It's quite fitting where I finished up, because this is rugby where legend has it young William Webb Ellis picked up a ball for the first time in 1823 and invented the game we love, rugby. And of course, a big game coming your way tomorrow, England against Wales. Before all that, though, how do we get £120,000 to spin its way into your bank account?
We started this week in Wales, and today, ahead of the Six Nations match between Wales and England.
So the big question is, what would you do with £90,000 in tax-free cash? Well, the perfect people to ask, Englishwoman and Mandy, the Welshman and Geraint. What would you do?
Perfect.
What would you do with it?
Probably buy a new pack.
How about you, Mandy? What was you doing?
Probably treat all the family to a cruise.
Well, you're going to have to enter if you want to win it. If you do want to enter, this is what you have to do.
For your chance to win, text WIN to 86060. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 786060. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to DY08, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close on Friday, the 25th of March at 3 p.m.
Get your receipt, babe. Tax.
Now, one of the parts of our menopause manifesto is pledging to understand all of the various symptoms, not just the obvious ones. And one sign that your body is going through the change is quite literally under your nose, as your skin can be affected by the drop in hormones. So today we are joined by expert in cosmetic dermatology, Dr. Ami Vyas. Thanks for joining us, Ami. So first off, how does your skin change as you approach menopause?
Yeah, so as we're coming into the menopause, we know our female hormones are dropping down. And the impact of that on our skin is that our skin loves estrogen. Estrogen's the thing that keeps us plump and hydrated and lifted and gives us that oil control. So what we start to notice as we're going through the perimenopause and the menopause is that the skin gets drier, it gets more kind of flaky, dehydrated, and we start to notice that drop in collagen as well in the structure. First 3 years or so of your menopause, you're losing quite a significant amount of that collagen. And on top of that, your skin is then becoming more irritable, easier to react to things in the environment like heating, cold, sun, pollution. So you get redness, irritation, and female hormones are going down, male hormones are relatively that little bit higher, so you may get a few breakouts, you may get those coarse hairs in the lower face as well. Yes. So all those things come in. Yeah.
Judy's looking alarmed.
She's always hearing about the menopause. She's not there yet, but you're going to be prepared. But we're all feeling So you lose a lot of collagen when you go in. Now, Kay and I didn't start taking our HRT about, 8-9 years after menopause. We're really late. We've only been taking it a year. Can it actually give you back? Is it then too late, or then can it give you
It can still help, but what is, obviously, if you wait later, prevention is obviously better than cure. So if you're doing it earlier, you are stopping that loss and kind of banking that loss earlier. But if you've waited a little bit, it will still give you some of the benefits. Your skin's not going to feel quite as dry, quite as tight, quite as irritated as it would if you weren't on it.
What about acne? Because some people, I mean, just as if things weren't bad enough, you can also get acne, can't you, in menopause? What would you treat it in the same way as you would with teenage acne?
Not exactly the same. The main actives, the things that you need, your vitamin A's, your retinoids, your oil-controlling agents, yes, you do need to use those, but your skin is drier. So you want to be making sure that you've got good moisturisation happening. So in your products, make sure you have something with hyaluronic acid in it. It's a really super ingredient, binds 1,000 times its weight in water. That's why we use it in moisturisers. It's why we use it in injectables that I may be doing in clinic. It plumps everything up, but it rehydrates and protects your skin. So you will drop down those vitamin A's or retinols or actives for drying the spots out to a couple of times a week, sandwich them in a moisturiser either side of when you're using them, and slowly treat that.
So those are the active ingredients you should be looking for then when you're looking for creams and stuff, retinol and vitamin A.
Yes.
Some of that stuff's so expensive, though.
Absolutely.
Oh, it doesn't have all of it, though.
There's so many different types, and I don't think you should be put off. The first thing to do is have a look at your skincare that you've already got in your cupboard. Look at the look at the ingredients, and you can get things like retinols over the counter from the high street quite easily. And start off always with the lowest strength, because if you're going to higher strengths, it's going to irritate the skin, make it that little bit drier. Then,
what's the lowest strength then?
Whenever you see a retinol, you might see percentages on there. So if it starts at 0.5% rather than 1% or 2%, go for the lower one. And retinaldehyde is a lower strength one that you can get as well. So you might see this on the back of your label. But really, really, really important that if you start doing that and then you see, OK, it's getting better, but it's not quite there, it might be worth seeing a professional, getting a little bit of advice, because then you get, like, a mini masterclass in your own skin. And they can recommend you medical-grade skincare that works a bit deeper within the skin and helps the skin right at the level where you need it.
Do you not have a skincare routine at all?
Not really, and I've sort of come to skincare later in life, really. But when you walk into a department store, there's so many different creams and you never know which ones to buy. And a lot of people just think, oh, go for the really expensive one because they're obviously
It's not true.
for you.
It's not
but
true.
my skin's really, really dry as I've got older. My whole body is really dry.
Yeah, so that's because of the lack of estrogen. So what you want to do is make sure that you've got a lovely creamy cleanser instead of something that's stripping and drying. Get yourself a serum with that hyaluronic acid.
So cleanser, serum.
Yeah.
Done.
And then your moisturiser is an optional, but sunscreen, definitely. So serum or moisturiser. They're the hydrating one. Use the same serum or moisturiser at night time to lock in that moisture. And then you've got your vitamin A or your retinol at night time.
And what sort of brands would you recommend?
So, I don't know...
No, but probably better not to recommend
many.
Can I ask you, is it from your experience, would you say the same routine works for, you know, people with a lot more melanin in their skin?
Yeah, so this is something that I always talk about. I treat all diverse skin tones.
Right.
If you have skin like me or you, we're going to age more with texture and with hyperpigmentation. So retinol's a good all-round ingredient because it also busts pigment and stops it coming up later on and fades kind of random dark marks. But we also want to have a group of pigment-busting ingredients. I'm going to say a long word. It's tyrosinase. Tyrosinase inhibitors. So look for things like licorice extract, kojic acid, but a really good one that I like is niacinamide, and this is an ingredient that's moisturising, controls pigment, controls oil, and is anti-inflammatory, so it makes your skin less reactive. So a really good ingredient. You can find it all over the high street.
I use that.
And pop that in.
But it's really important what you eat as well, isn't it? Now, I was fascinated to read about sugar, because my sister Dina's always said this about sugar's bad for your ageing.
Sugar is bad for ageing, and the reason is it causes a process called glycation. Your skin, the whole function is for it to be a tight barrier. It needs to be really strong like that. Nothing can get through. In order to do that, you need collagen that's tightly bound like that. But when you have loads of sugar, your collagen becomes rigid and falls, and look, everything's falling flat on the surface. So that's what sugar does. So trying to minimise that as much as you can. Eat a rainbow diet. Lots of antioxidants.
And your rainbow diet isn't very healthy. I mean, thank you. That was really good, really informative. ITV News is on next, where they will be giving the latest updates on the situation in Ukraine. And as we mentioned earlier, we've got a real treat for you next week when Stacy comes back to the show after her maternity leave with baby Rose. She's going to bring her in. We cannot wait to see her. Have a wonderful weekend.